Hello everyone and welcome back to the Sweeptrack Backstage channel. Today we're gonna dive deep into the Japanese music market. The Japanese music industry reorganized under the occupation of the Allies, mainly the United States, which exposed young Japanese musicians to American media and music of the time, such as jazz, blues, and rock. The mix of Western styles and traditional Japanese melodies gave rise to Kayokyoku, which quickly became the dominant genre of the era. During the 1950s, jazz and Latin rhythms were further incorporated and became even more popular as the country's economy was being restructured. Artists like Frank Nagai became some of the first stars of what became known as Mood Kayo. In 1951, the NHK annual Kohaku Utagassen was broadcast for the first time as a radio program, and starting in 1953, it began airing on television. In the 1960s, it was the turn of beat music, which originated in England, to influence Japanese music. By the middle of the decade, countless bands were trying to replicate the sound of groups like the Beatles and the Beach Boys, which led to the widespread popularity of the electric guitar in the country. During the same decade, other genres like bossa nova originating from Brazil also gained prominence, with artists like Kaoru Kumi and Lisa Ono producing works in the style. In the 1970s, the folk music of Bob Dylan and others reached Japan, and the folk boom took place when the public began to focus on artists who wrote their own songs, such as Yosui Inoue and Yumin. New music began to gain ground, although Kayokyoku was still the most commonly used term to describe most mainstream music. If new music emphasized a closer connection between artist and audience, the idol system began to take shape in the end of the 1970s. Young female singers performing catchy pop songs that could win over the masses were extensively promoted throughout TV shows, magazines, and radio. Agencies would scout teenage girls, while producers developed the entire musical product, visuals, choreography, and songs. Duos like Pink Lady achieved nationwide success, filling concert halls and securing prominent TV spots. During the bubble decade, when Japan experienced a period of rapid economic growth, the music industry followed the trend. The golden era of idols was marked by young singers like Seiko Matsuda and Akira Nakamori, who dominated the top of the charts. During this decade, other styles also captured the public's attention, such as city pop, represented by Tatsuro Yamashita, and fusion, with bands like T-Square and Cassiopeia leading the way. Japanese rock also evolved, giving birth to its own movement, Visual Kei, initially inspired by glam rock, which spread toward the end of the decade as bands like Buck-Tick and X Japan broke into the mainstream. The term J-pop gained popularity during this period, while music programs that still air today debuted, such as Music Station. In the 1990s, the Japanese music industry solidified its position as the second largest music market in the world. The decade was marked by a wide variety of genres and artists competing week after week for the top of the charts. In rock, the duo Beast became one of the most successful acts in history. Not far behind, major bands like Mr. Children also rose to fame. Visual Kei became massively popular, with bands like Clay, L'Arc-en-Ciel, and Luna Sea reaching the top of the charts. Eurodance also gained traction through the productions of Tetsuya Komuro. Following the trend of more electronic music, Ayumi Hamasaki emerged at the end of the decade with immediate success, while the more R&B influenced pop of Utada Hikaru earned her the best-selling album in history in 1999. Boy bands like SMAP and V6 and girl groups like Speed and Max continued the idol system momentum. In the 2000s, mainly through anime, J-pop began reaching the West, and thanks to the internet, bands like X Japan and L'Arc-en-Ciel started gaining fans across various countries. However, in Japan, things were changing, with the industry focusing much of its efforts on idol groups like Morning Musume and AKB48, who dominated the charts until the end of the following decade. The peak of CD sales in Japan occurred in mid-2000s, and from then on, just like in the rest of the world, sales started to decline. However, if we look closely, Japan still has a large audience that prefers physical media. In 2022, about 66% of revenue came from physical media, which is the practically opposite of what happens in the West. The major record labels in Japan are Sony Music Entertainment Japan, Avex, Universal Japan, and Warner Japan. However, talent agencies hold significant influence in the industry, especially within the idol world. Agencies like Johnny and Associates, founded in 1963, launched several boy bands such as SMAP, Arashi, and Heisei Jump, dominating the male pop idol scene for nearly 40 years. Jonas' business model ended up inspiring K-pop agencies. This model is known for building not just the artist's repertoire, but also their personality, style, and image. In short, it's a strategically crafted product meant to attract as many fans as possible, with focus on creating a closer relationship with the audience. Singles and albums are often accompanied by collectible items or bonuses. Recruited youth go through intense training to become not only good singers and dancers, but also to develop a charming personality. They frequently appear on TV shows, commercials, and dramas. Since 1980s, idols have become advertising faces for various brands, while agencies profit by selling all kinds of products stamped with their images. Fans develop parasocial relationships with these artists, following not only their careers, but also their personal growth over the years. All thanks to the idea of building a personality young people can relate. Aside the strong idol industry, another aspect that sets the Japanese music market apart is the CD rentals. In 1985, CD rental was legalized in Japan, with stores paying a fee to do so. By 1989, there were already more than 6,000 rental stores in operation. Another reason is the high price of CDs in Japan, which are more expensive than in other countries. The resale value is also relatively high, making CD rentals an appealing option. If you enjoyed the video, please share, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching.